giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly.
Last week you saw us cutting out the hole for the shower and beginning the process of finalising our plumbing. This week, Sam's task is to finish all the plumbing connections under the bus between all the tanks and run them into the bus so we can finally stick down that final floor piece.
Alright, so I made my first mistake, which was I cut the hole before I got the drain. So you can see I cut the hole to the hole of the shower base, but it actually is meant to fit flush with the shower base, which means I needed this lip closer in so that I had something to clamp onto for the drain, and then I was meant to silicone around it. So you know, you make mistakes, and just didn't let it get to me, and I came up with an ulterior plan. So now I've got this 3mm ply, and I've just grinded away a couple of mil so that, like, because the shower base where the hole is, it kind of sinks in a little bit, like it has a bit of a lip it's meant to like seat into. So I've kind of emulated that here, and the rest of this ply sits underneath the cavity, so that's going to do a good job in filling the gap, which is meant to be filled with sand, but you know, this timber is just going to sit there instead. And then I cut the hole perfectly for the drain, so now that'll sit in there, and the shower base will go over the top of this, and then this should be a snug fit, and I'll have just silicone around the edge of it. So quick thinking fix to a problem that I didn't expect to have. So yeah, I think it'll work fine. It'll do the job, and it will seal. Beautiful. Okay, things are going pretty well. There is a drain right at the top here, and then I've got the trap. That trap will hold water in it and stop bad smells from coming back through the tank and into here. Which I do believe, because this there is actually a bit lower than here, I'm gonna have to come up. So this whole section is gonna be filled with water, like pretty much all the time. It'll be handy, we've got this plug here, so when we're finished with the shower we'll be able to plug that up, and then that'll stop like any issues of like bugs and stuff breeding, you know, like mosquitoes breeding in the in that little bit of water, which we actually have a problem with right now in our rental. Yeah, this is actually going to plan. It's excited. This is the first time I've ever put my hands on PVC waste plumbing, so it's kind of relieving. And this is just like this perfectly lining up. That is a happy mistake. That's the trap. Shower comes up straight from here to here. Might cut that in a minute. And then the sink from our kitchen will come from this wall, like the sink's over here somewhere. It'll come from the wall across and then straight down into there. It's happening. It's working. It's looking really good. And the coolest thing is because it sits separate, to this, I can actually work on this separately. So this can all be put in place, and I can fix the floor down before I'm done fixing the shower, which is perfect. We can start working on the next stage before I'm necessarily ready to commit to the bathroom. I thought I was gonna have to stick down the shower base, put it all in place, and then when I fix this piping, that would lock it in, but it's not the case. So once I'm waterproofing, that's when it will be locked in. Dry fit done.
In the meantime, I have been working on doing the window trimmings and all the finishing touches on the walls. Alright, I have all the bits of wood cut up and they're in the bus ready to be screwed in. I am running out of screws, so I'll only be able to do so much before I have to stop. but at least we're almost there. I think it's going to look really good with the ply on the surface. Originally, when I was considering having the pallet wood show up, it was because it was flush against with the wood that we had there. And I hadn't considered the fact that we did want to put ply on that piece. So then what ended up happening is there was like a divot and like it looked weird. So it makes sense to cover it up and have it all seamless, which is what it's going to look like now. We also made the call. We're finding it really hard to find more secondhand insulation the way that we've been using it with the silver foil on the bottom. So we've made the call that we're going to use the sheets that we have left to line the two side bits that have no insulation at all. Let me try it like there. And then all of these parts that have one layer of insulation, we do have like shed insulation, which is just like a silver reflective kind of insulation. And it's like a little pillow that we're going to put on as the second layer here. And in any places where we need extra, then we can double it up. But we've got more of that to go around. So it just makes sense to get the ceiling done. We're sick of seeing it looking like this. We want it to all be seamless and beautiful and be able to move forward. So the next few days, we've got huge ambitions for the bus and what we want to accomplish here. But in times when Sam's not here, like right now he's at work, and also while he's busy doing other things that I can't necessarily help with, I can be smashing out these things. So yeah, that's the plan. I am getting tired though. It's already 1 o'clock. I'm going to take the dogs out for a walk, have a coffee, and then hopefully I can screw in some of these panels and start perhaps cutting out the longest strips for the windows. There's a wasp and I don't want to get stung, so I'm just dancing for now. Get your hands up. Get on out of your seat, or Liza. Alright, it's moved over enough for me to keep going. Kinda. Ah! Too close, too close, too close! Go away! I've just ended up shifting some of the bits at the top and it already fills the whole space. Of course, with one layer. So now I'm going to use this foil type of insulation that usually you would use in a shed or even on the floor. And I'm going to double it up and fill in the gaps that are left over. I do still have 2 strips of the pink insulation down the back that I didn't need to use. So I'll be able to put those, I think they fit in here from memory. So I'll probably put them back there. And that means we'll be able to actually cover up the ceiling all the way to the front of the bus, which is going to look amazing. Yay. Insulation is ready for a ceiling. These 2 pieces are missing because they're down here and they don't quite fit into the corners enough for me to like tuck them in, but they fit nicely. So when we go to put the ceiling up, we'll just have to put them in there, which I think will actually work out well because it looks like we'll have a panel come up to here and we'll be able to tuck. Yay! I have the first window pane and if I did everything right, it should hopefully fit. I did notice it's a bit sticky. Not sticky, it's a bit hard to get it into that last corner right in the end there, so it must be thinner. Fits well there. Fits really well there. Look at this. Oh, beauty. I definitely think that space is just like a mil or 2 smaller than the rest of it, which is why it's not going in. So I'm going to keep that as is for now. I know it fits nicely here, which is great. So I'm going to measure out the next one, which I already did measure it out. I just need to cut it out and then measure out where to cut it. And I'm just going to fit it from here onwards. Let Sam sort out the tricky one. Hang on the job again.
With any minute I can get to take a break. My rest day after all.
Plumbing's fun, hey.
Are you doing it, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like a pain in the butt. You always have to be underneath things.
Yeah. Yep.
I want to jump over the surface.
To all you plumbers out there, condolences.
Hats off.
Hats off.
The few very small components of plumbing that I've done, I've already felt the pain of it. Been recovering my muscles for like a week from that copper wire.
Yeah.
Copper pipe, not wire.
Playing with fire there, aren't I?
Nice.
That's all completely plumb now.
Woohoo! We began this week feeling on top of the world and seeing our ripped out bus finally transforming into a comfortable living space with ceilings and walls and great opportunities. Little did we know that there were many grave errors that we have made along the way that would end up seeing us ripping out most of the bus and the hard work in just a few days. Yep, truly happened. So far, insulation is done, windows are done, plumbing is done, floor is down, and now we're getting right into the walls. That is probably going to be the last job for today because it's getting later in the day and we're exhausted. Yeah, this camera. We have just come back from talking to Craig from Wise Energy all about our solar system, making sure that we've got the right components and getting the most bang for our buck. I will include some clips from it, but I do want to make an actual dedicated video to our solar system once we purchase everything and start getting it installed. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. But I did want to talk through some of the things that he enlightened us about and also brought to our attention. So first of all, our electric lines that we have run through the house, in all the points where they come in contact with the metal, we're going to actually have to, and we are devastated that we didn't know this sooner. We probably should have looked it up. But these parts here where we have run the wire through the metal parts, we actually need to have some sort of like a rubber hose or rubber grommets or something that we run over the wires between the metals so that over time as the bus moves and shakes, they're not ripping apart on the jagged edges of the metals. So that's one thing we're going to have to do. Rip off the ceiling, at least in some sections, and redo some of that. So that's annoying, but I'm glad he's brought it to our attention so that we could actually fix it before the issue becomes worse. Another thing that we talked about is upping the system from a 3000 watt inverter to a 5000 watt inverter charger combo. So this is the multi-plus inverter from Victron that we're looking at getting now, and it essentially means that we have more watts to pull out. It also means we can actually run full time as opposed to running part-time like caravanners might. So that's one thing that as we were doing our research, a lot of the people we were getting our information from weren't full-time RV life people, or perhaps they just could run off the grid more often than we would. Essentially, the Multi+2, from what I gather, will allow us not only to run more for longer and have two components going at the same time, so let's say a toaster and the TV, the fridge and the air conditioner, so that kind of stuff, but it will also allow us to charge our batteries using the grid by plugging ourselves in, or alternatively using a generator, which just means if we're stuck in the middle of nowhere or we're surrounded by trees or shade on our solar panels, we're going to still have a way to charge up our batteries, which is really important. So I think we are pretty clear on what we need to get, the components we need, and how they're going to all work together. We have a spot set on the bus where we're going to have it, so in our storage bin underneath on this left-hand side, right-hand side, I don't know, guess it depends which way you're looking at it. I am spending my morning finishing off our window sills, so I'm measuring them out and then cutting them out so that they've got the gaps there. Our wood has been left outside, so unfortunately it's a bit warped, but it's coming along nicely. I also managed to take one of these like wooden pipes that these wooden posts, or what would you call this, strips that we had laying around, so that I could test out what the Reflectix curtain will kind of look like, and I like it. So far it's coming along easily. I've measured out all my pieces down here on the floor. I've been using the big saw and it's so nice and smooth to use. I really enjoy it. And now I'm gonna head outside and jigsaw the rest of the pieces. All right, it is time to announce the winner for the second giveaway. If you missed out on this giveaway, I feel like it may have been because you didn't see the short announcement. So I'll make sure that I'm including it in the full videos like I am right now. So I've got all the people that have entered this giveaway, as well as some second chances for those that entered the last giveaway. They got an email letting them know that they have a second chance this time round, as long as they enter the giveaway, which I think 4 people have, so they've got a second chancer. So now let's enter the code and find the giveaway winner. Control V. The winner is Alicia. Congratulations, Alicia. So I will be sending you an email really soon so that you can pass on an address to me and I can send you this fantastic mushroom book. Happy foraging. The next giveaway is going to be live on the Buy Me a Coffee page as well. The same link still works, so you can still follow the same one. It's in the description box, and I will have a QR code up on the screen here as well, so that you can just scan on with your phone and enter and not have to think about it again until the giveaway winner is announced. This is the third giveaway, and there's, I think, 6 altogether. So I'll show you guys the next book that is up for grabs. Giveaway number 3 is definitely for those enthusiastic about native Australian bush foods. This has been a Bible for me when setting up my own bush food forest. It has so much valuable information in it. You can see it's well used. So if you're thinking about starting your own bush food forest, if you're just curious about the different varieties or their growing conditions and just all the cool facts about some of the fantastic edible plants that we have in our country, then this book is for you. And of course, each giveaway book does also come with a Ethical Wonder keychain and a marigold lip balm. So those are some goodies in there as well. All you have to do is enter the giveaway down below and good luck.